live from a very wet forest in Northern Ireland. I have a little bit of an announcement to make today. So this year, I'm finally going to publicly announce it, and I mean saying I definitely have to do it. I am going to be hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what the Pacific Crest Trail is, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. Still working on that last part, but we'll get there. So the Pacific Crest Trail is a long-distance national scenic trail that runs from the Mexican border to the Canadian border, and it's around 2,653 miles. Saying that out loud sort of scares me. It's pretty long. I'm going to be spending 6 months, hopefully, if all goes well, on this trail. And I leave in a few months' time, so it's getting soon. So yeah, so that's what the PCT is. And now the big question: why? Why would I want to do something so insane as this? It's a very good question. So I have so many reasons to be doing this, and actually I'm going to start with, I was listening to a podcast the other day with this guy who'd hiked the PCT, the AT and the CDT, the Triple Crown, calendar year, in 1 year, so the elite thru hiker. And I find his answer to this question to be really interesting, and actually something I didn't think about before. But he basically explained that the reason why we do these things, it goes deeper than we can verbalize in a way. You know, we sort of come up with these reasons that logically sound like they make sense why we want to do these things, but why we feel like called to do these things is something that we'll never truly understand. And I feel like that made so much sense. It was like the penny dropping for me when I heard him say that, because there's just something about something of this distance, like when I got into my brain, it just really got into my brain, and I just felt like I need to do this. I want to do it, but I also need to do this. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's so many other reasons as well. Like, I'm not going to go like fully into it because, you know, I do enough waffling about this on my other channel, but I basically lost the last years of my 20s to an illness, and it was the worst time of my life, and I felt so trapped, so miserable. It was horrendous. It was horrendous, and I couldn't get out and do stuff like this. And I feel like, as cheesy as this sounds, I feel like my soul needs to go and do something like this, to just sort of like break free from everything I went through these past few years. There's still some like mental trauma there from all that. It's a bit of a long story, so I'll not bore you with that. And it's also very cold, so I don't want to stay here too long. But yeah, so like I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff, so I need to go for a big walk it off. Yeah, so that is probably one of the biggest reasons. And then I think there's other reasons, you know, like I sort of find recently that I've noticed myself saying a lot of the time, there's not enough time in the day to do this, there's not enough time, running out of time, you know, can't get this done, can't get that done, you know, and I'm like here, there and everywhere. And, you know, I always say I wish I could just like pause time because there's so much I want to do. This, I suppose, is kind of like pausing that. And that's not to say that, you know, I'm not happy with my life. I love my life. I'm so lucky. I'm so happy with my job, my family, my friends, where I live, stuff I do. Like, I'm really happy with my life, but it definitely does get hectic. And I just feel like taking sort of a step back and just going somewhere completely different and just doing one thing, walking, just walking. And I just think that's gonna be really refreshing, and yeah, it's gonna be something that I hopefully look back on and think, wow, I'm so glad that I took the time out of normal life to go and do that. And I suppose as well, like what age am I? I'm 31. You know, I find a lot of my friends are, you know, they're married, having babies, you know, going on honeymoons, like, you know, they've all got their lives and stuff, whereas, like, you know, that is not happening for me at the minute. Not to say that I don't want those things, it just, you know, it just hasn't happened. So, you know, this is kind of my thing. Like, now I'm just gonna go and do something epic for myself in this stage of life. So yeah, you know, and then there's the obvious reasons, like the freedom, the ultimate freedom of being on a long distance trail is just, I crave it. And when I finish one, I am planning the next one. And yeah, I got a little bit carried away when planning the next one, which is why the PCT has come up. So yeah, so they're kind of my main reasons. Oh yeah, just meeting like-minded people. I think the community on the PCT, you know, when I watch people's videos and the trail families they make, and that is just something that I really want. I want to meet other people that are just as crazy to do something like this, make loads of new friends and explore new places. So that brings me to the how am I doing this logistically. Basically what happens is I'm going to fly from Dublin to LA to San Diego. From San Diego, I'm going to spend a few nights there, and then I'm getting a shuttle that's going to take me to the Mexican border, where I'm going to camp a night. And then basically what I do then is I just walk up, walk north. Although it's not really, because it's like weekly. And yeah, I basically just hitchhike into towns to resupply. In some places I'll be posting myself stuff. I forgot to explain that the Pacific Crest Trail, like the main sections, it goes through as well at the start, which is kind of important. So yeah, it starts at the Mexican border, it goes through California, Oregon and Washington. So yeah, so there's going to be a desert section, there's going to be a Sierra section where it's going to be very cold, and then Washington, which I've heard can rain quite a bit. So yeah, it's going to change a lot. It's going to be really interesting. So yeah, so logistically, yeah, I'm not making a massive plan because it's impossible to plan something of this length, but I do plan to take somewhere between 5 and 6 months. And I will resupply my food as I go. So basically you walk through the wild, then, you know, the wilderness, then you go into towns every so often to get your food, wash your clothes, wash yourself. Yeah, and then I'm gonna fly back from Seattle. So I have my return flights booked, I have my visa, I have my permit, I have most of my gear, still working on that. Yeah, so that is my plan. So I guess that's all I want to say for this video. If you have any questions, I will try my best to answer them. Yeah, and if you want to follow along on this channel over the next few months, I'm going to be doing videos on my gear, my training schedules, yeah, and then when I get out there I am hoping to make videos as I go, so we'll see how that happens. Yeah, so that's about it. So thank you for watching this video and goodbye.